Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Just waiting for a couple of minutes for folks to join. Right. Okay, I think I've adjusted my window that everything it's in their slot. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes. Looks good here.
Thanks for confirming. Before we start, anyone want to add anything to the agenda?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
We don't need to review it today, but my on again, off again PR that, I submitted back in December and then was like, you guys made some substantial changes. I deleted or I closed the PR and then I redid the entire thing, and because I had to go through and test everything, including where all the new packages went. So I just signed and pushed, and now I'm getting ready to resubmit the PR. So it'll show up here shortly.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the update, Jimmy. Yeah, I saw there's a discussion with Akash that about closing the PR and resubmitting. Yep,
Yeah.
we'll be able to take a look once you've. I believe I've signed off on the previous one, and I imagine the auth provider for the AWS hasn't changed that much, so it's just about integrating with the other changes that went in around Christmas time.
Yeah. So yeah, we can discuss it if we have time. There was a couple changes I made based on how things ended up that weren't there when I first did the PR, but yeah, we can discuss it if we have time.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll just quickly add. Okay. Yeah, we can go off the from the actionable agenda items. Thanks for adding the links here. No plugin as OCR artifact. It's out of draft and ready for review. And I believe we said we'll take this post RC, and we've cut the branch for RC this morning. So yeah, no, I think after reviewing this, it's good to go into the main branch. And I remember discussing that we wanted a feature flag, and that is disabled by default. Was that change implemented in the latest update?
Yeah, it sure is. So last week, I think we merged feature flag support, and that includes the feature flag for this. It's Ratify dynamic plugins, and it's disabled by default. So included in the PR are the steps on how to enable that feature flag if you want to use this feature, as well as the information on how to configure those CRDs. But that's there's a new usage markdown file for docs for this feature included in the PR.
Cool. Dynamic plugin.
Yeah, that's the right one. So I finished writing up that this morning before I moved it out of draft.
Very cool.
The big things here are, just telling people how to upload a plugin to an artifact registry and calling out, it needs CGO enabled 0. Activating the feature flag on the Helm install, or if you already have Ratify installed and you want to use this feature, you can do it. I need to go change that from Helm install to Helm upgrade, but I'll fix that. But I've tested it both standalone and upgraded an existing installation.
Cool. And we talked about, I remember Toddy bringing the point that the plugin, it'll be good to validate the signatures of the plugin. Would you be able to maybe create an issue to track that item, and then we can triage it for future releases?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take that as an action item for myself. So that's not included here, but I remember we did talk about that. So I'll capture those notes and create an issue.
Thank you. Any other feedback? Anyone? Jimmy, I was wondering if you were able to try this out.
No, not yet. I was traveling last week, and this week I've been just trying to get my PR redone and then test it internally to AWS. So I actually just finished testing it so that it shows up and does the right things like 30 minutes before this meeting. So yeah, no.
Cool,
But
no problem.
I plan on testing it shortly. It's just next on my list.
Got it. Yeah, let us know what you think. Yeah, thanks, Noel. We'll be able to take a look this week. The next PR, the nested reference needs test run. Just reading your comment, Joshua. So there's some merge conflict, but should be good to go. And then there were lint errors. Yes, the end-to-end test is failing, and I'm on a thread with discussion with Noel that it could be related to a test cleanup issue.
Yeah, Josh asked me, couldn't make it right now. He asked me to speak for him for this. So
okay, thanks.
He said that everything should be fixed. It's passing in the fork repo, and if you just click the button to rerun the tests, we should be good to go. So yeah, that's about
Got
it.
it.
For that one.
I haven't checked the logs for that failure, but I just created an issue. I also ran into like a PR, a job failure, and when I looked at the log, it was failing on maybe just the last scenario that we're running in end-to-end test. So maybe it's related to the failure that Joshua is seeing, but it's an intermittent failure. So sometimes it passes, sometimes it fails. So I think we have to address this before we release RC for sure. So like, if I get to maybe take a look at this and update the cleanup step, and then we can check in the fix for the end-to-end failure, and then we can rerun all the tests for all the PRs. Does that sound good, Jeffrey?
Yep. That sounds fine.
Thanks. SBOM verifier update, ready for review.
Yeah, so this
Yeah,
one's just,
go
oh,
ahead, Jeffrey.
Yeah, this one's just, I responded, just waiting for replies on some of the comments, and that's about it. Wait, why don't they show up there?
Yeah, I'm only seeing Binbin's
What?
comments. So maybe like, is there like a push update or add review comment button, like sometimes GitHub.
Oh yeah, that's curious.
So do you see your pending comments from your view, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I do. So I'm not sure why. Yeah, I see them pending from my view, so I'm not sure why
Okay.
they're not there.
So let's see. So if you go to the file changed, and if you do like, if you click on review changes, I wonder, like sometimes if I add a comment, right? I have the choice to add a single comment or start a review. And if I
Mhm.
started a review, like GitHub would try to like collect all my review comments. And then once I
Oh, I
publish
see.
them, then they go public. So maybe you need to publish them from your GitHub.
Oh, got it. Okay, try now or refresh. Sorry.
Yep. Let's see. Maybe go to the conversation.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, got
we
it.
see
I
your
see.
comments now.
Oh my. All right, thanks. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, Binbin should be able to, he's online today later, so he will be able to respond.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, let's go back to our pull request list. Binbin's not on the call today. Luis, do you know what is the status for the end-to-end test on ACR and AKS?
So he was working on it. I'll follow up with him later today. I have my one-on-one with him.
Cool. And we've just covered the plugins as OCI artifact is ready for review. And Akash, you're still working on the add mutation support?
Yeah, I've addressed all of the comments for that, and I've added tests. So I think it's almost at a point where it should be ready for final review. Running into a few issues, performance related, but still investigating that. And I don't think that should be a blocker for this, though.
Cool. Thanks for the update. And I think Binbin is still working on the RS store cache. For the Ratify key vault provider, I'm still doing more testing, but I'm also being blocked by the test failure. So I think I should be able to take a look at the test failure this afternoon to unblock the PRs. The next one, move nested reference logic to executor. I think we just talked about that one. We just covered the SBOM verifier. And I think the Anicius linter fix will be able to get to that soon. And we have Jimmy's AWS custom endpoint. Yeah, Jimmy, I'll be able to take a look this week. Yeah, that's all the status for our PRs before we move on. Oh,
Susan,
yes, Luis.
before, is it possible to add like a tag or label to the ones we've marked for RC1? I believe at this point, out of this list, we're looking at the second one.
From the bottom?
No, from the top.
From the top. Enable linters?
Well, fix is more like, I think that one, Anish already, he already set up the first part, and I think this is a sort of a follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
So we would need to at least fix all the linter errors. And then we're also tracking the your keyboard provider, the cache to Aura store, mutation support, and the end-to-end, correct?
Yep. So, okay, let me go into any RCPR and like I wonder which field should we use? Is it the labels?
Yeah, I think so.
Add a label,
Oh,
apply label to this pull request.
So
There's
when,
also a milestone
Maybe
field that you might want to
milestone.
use.
Yeah,
oh.
milestone.
So should I just set the milestone in the PR?
Yeah, let's do that for now. We can discuss if we need to do anything else.
Yeah, I wonder if this sets the milestone for the PR or is it setting the milestone for the issue? Or maybe this item already is in the RC1 milestone, but the PR does not show the item's milestone.
Right, I think there's a way to link the PR to the issue.
Yeah, I think this is the link, right?
I see, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be able to label them after, but it's just not very obvious. Like
It
there's
is.
no, yeah.
That's true.
There's a filter on this page. If you see the issue you're hovering over, there's a V1 RC1 here, and then up above the issue list is milestones, and you can say milestones. Only the RC1 things, so you can get a targeted list of the things you're tracking actively.
Oh, got it. Thanks for sharing that trick. So we've got the mutation support,
cache store.
the cache store. Oh, wow. Did I? Okay, this is the test matrix. RC1.
Well, he's trying all these different cache libraries.
Okay.
The Ratify Azure keyboard provider.
Yep. Now have and the linter.
Yep. And the last one end-to-end.
Oh, sign milestone. Oh, this one's already in the correct milestone.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
so when's the next milestone?
So we haven't discussed that just yet. I think we're gonna continue doing periodic releases from main, but we just haven't gotten that far. I'm assuming sometime next month.
Really? Okay.
Are you blocked, Jimmy? Or is there any scenario?
Well, I mean, I submitted this PR a month ago, and now I had to resubmit it again today. And in order for us to test internally, this PR is needed for us. So, I mean, we have to use custom code that veers from the base here, and then I have to use custom charts, templates and values file, which is not a big deal. That'd be custom anyways. I'm just trying to get an expectation.
Can we take a look at, we can take a look at the changes.
Yeah, I think if Jimmy, if the changes are pretty isolated, like in the ECR basic auth provider, I think we'll be able to take this change for RC. Like our goal was just to reduce churn.
Well, I don't want to. I mean, if you don't, if the rest of the team doesn't want to put it in, that's fine. I'm trying to get an expectation for when it might go in. So, I mean, I'm completely I understand that redoing it again today. I'm not trying to put anybody under the gun here. If you look at the Docker file, that is a change to 1.19. So, and that was in the last one as well. So, and then when I was updating the docs, the Aura Auth provider MD, the numbering scheme seemed off by one, and from the auth provider's numbers. And when I looked at it, it was because it looks like somebody had added the managed identity, but they didn't add it up in the top. So you can see that I added the Azure managed identity because it showed up in the numbering scheme. So someone can verify that. So it showed up in the body, but didn't show up in the header as a list of specific providers. So I added it anyways because it seemed like it was off. But
I think in the interest of making sure that whoever's using RC, we want it usable, I would prioritize getting this in. It just makes sense. I mean, and it's not fair. I'm with you, Jimmy, here. It just doesn't make sense to have to resubmit it again. So let's just get it in somehow.
Yeah, I'll be able to review this maybe by the end of tomorrow, Jimmy. Does that sound good?
yeah, I mean, whenever you can get to it. I mean, I just looked at it just now, and there seems like there's a conflict in the AWS ECR basic file, but I'm confused because I'm the only one that normally messes with that file. So
All right, so I think it's fine. It's fair to consider it for RC1. So yeah, just if you can fix that that conflict, Jimmy, and we'll try to get it in.
well, I don't have rights to fix it, right? I mean, it has to be somebody that.
Oh, what?
Is it just a merge conflict?
Well, it looks like there's a
it's a package
yeah, the
that
AWS
was
package, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also trying to understand. So it's saying this package does not exist in main. And is this a new package from this PR?
Yeah.
So we should take your change, right?
Yeah, that's the only way it'll work.
Okay, we can do this right now since it's, I think it's just a button. So does that look good, Jimmy?
Yes.
And this would push an update to your branch.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see the error went away. And so it might run into the end-to-end failure, but I'll be able to take a look and then we'll be all unblocked.
Yeah. Cool. And the last time the issue was, I guess some of the commits weren't signed. So
yeah,
I don't see that error this time. So
yeah,
I think it's showing up as unverified again.
so does that mean that I failed to sign it again? Because I used it. I mean, I can see my signing setup in Git. I'm using GPG. I mean,
This happens sometimes when I think the web UI might push a commit up as a merge commit, and the sign-off is with some GitHub no reply address, which might not be there. But that's okay. I don't think we have a problem with that, right?
Once we sign off on this, the Git UI might say, "Oh, all commits must be signed."
That's
like
okay.
we've seen.
Let's push it through for now. Sometimes these things just like it's happened to me before on OCI where the UI would merge with a different email address, and then I had to go re-sign it and things like that. We can fix it because as a part of the merge pool, it'll fix it with whoever does the merge. It should be okay.
well,
Okay.
I just want to make sure it's not something that I screwed up again. So I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, because if you look, the merge says it's verified, but when I pushed it up, I didn't see the unverified when I initially pushed the PR, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. We had Jimmy, did you set up GPG using like one of the the links in our docs. I think David added a link to a tutorial on how to set it up. And I was able to follow that and have the right setup.
No, I didn't use what was inside the docs here. I just used what was published on GitHub or on the Git documentation.
I see. I think for this PR, like if we need to override it, one of us would be able to override a merge. But if this happens again, maybe we can, like next time we'll have more time to debug the setup.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, like if you set it up again, maybe it'll be fixed.
Yeah, I'll try. I mean, yeah, I mean, GPG shows it. It's there. And I got no complaints from Git when I used -S to sign it. So, but I'll try again.
Yeah, we can work offline on this.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Cool. Going back to our agenda, discuss the RC branching process. Luis, I believe you've already cut the branch this morning.
Yeah, so we cut the branch this morning. We are preparing this release for an internal goal milestone, but people should be free to merge into the main branch, and we'll continue to have periodic releases from main branch. Just for RC1, we're gonna have just a more diligent eye in which changes go from now on. And we'll be discussing, we'll be triaging. Well, we already triaged today, but if there's any new changes coming next week, we're hoping to that those will be the last set of changes we take, and any fixes that come after that. But yep.
Yeah, I was wondering, so if someone, say next week, they have a PR that they would like to be included in the RC1 release, is there a process? Is there a triage process that we should follow? Like maybe they can tag us on the PR and say, hey, I would like this to be included.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, if they can send, I don't know what the preferred mode of communication here, if it's the Slack or if it's just email, at least to you, Susan, so we can get a heads up and potentially do any early triaging that's needed. Otherwise, we'll look at this on the next community, but if the change is big or risky, there's more risk of declining it. So.
And we'll be checking into the main branch, and I think you mentioned we'll be cherry picking from the main branch to the RC branch.
Right. So we'll create a PR from main to RC, one for any change we want to take moving forward.
Oh, got it. So it'll be two PRs, one to go to the main branch and the other one.
Right. Right. So basically, people will continue normally into the main branch, and then we'll have to create a PR from that cherry picks from main to RC1.
Yeah, I wonder if we have for the RC1 branch, do we have a merge security rules? Can anyone just already check into the RC branch directly? What setup do we have around who can check in and who
I would need
cannot
to
merge?
go into the actual roles. That's a good point. My expectation is that maintainers only, in that case ourselves, but we can discuss more on that at the dev sync.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Well, we should just review the branch rules just to make sure we have the right permissions. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Anything else we need to discuss related to RC?
No, I think just Akash was working on a PR to enable test some PRs and some of the, just basically making sure we can run tests against any changes. So same set of tests we run on both, unless there's changes we need to do in the actual tests. But That's it.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, the next item, I created a bug about the end-to-end test failure. Thanks for the context, Noel. Just reading this, does it mean you think like the last test is impacted by the cleanup process?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure this is the cause of the intermittent failures, but it is something that I noticed that seemed relevant. So what happens, and just for context for everybody, the cleanup step in each of our BATS tests doesn't run as expected. It just kind of runs kubectl without arguments, and so it needs quotes around it is kind of the fix. But the result is inside the pipeline, a GitHub Actions runner has 2 cores by default, and we're using one of the default pools. So we're running a kind cluster, and it's got like Gatekeeper and Ratify, and each test is adding containers for its test cases, and the cleanup isn't working. And so we end up with, I don't know, let's say a dozen containers. And so the more tests we add, kind of the worse the problem gets. And we run the risk of, those last test cases timing out and failing or having issues. It wasn't solving that wasn't a fix for the problem that I was encountering. It was a problem between the keyboard and chair in my case, but this might be relevant to fixing some timeout issues. It could also be something completely different, but that's kind of the context. And I pasted a sample commit of where I had fixed the test cases previously. If we want to merge that and see if that fixes anything.
Yeah, thanks. No, I'll try it out. Just curious, the tear down method, is there a way to implement one tear down for all the tests? Because I see in the commit you have tear down for each individual test.
Yeah, so I had a tear down step per test case because we want to tear down different things. You could have a global tear down that, I don't know, maybe like deleted all pods within a given namespace, and then we always create pods in the test namespace or something like that. And the teardown could be a common top level that just says delete the whole namespace after every run or something.
No.
Yeah, definitely some options there.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'd also just want to check with Matt to see if this error message means anything, because when I looked at the test failure, the message was schema validation failed, that the image is required, task is required. Like, Matt, do you know?
Yeah, I can take a look at this as well. So from the error log, or from that message, it looks like it's looking for obviously an image and a task within the schema. And that might be, I'm just looking at the logs down below, because there's one where it obviously fails on purpose, and that should return true because it knows it's going to fail. I just want to make sure it wasn't. Okay, yeah, that's not the one. Yeah, I can also take a look at this to see what might be going on.
Great. Well, we can work on this together.
Okay,
I'll try the tear down, and I'll let you know what I see.
Okay, yeah, typically that error is going to return if the schema doesn't match and it's missing fields, for example, in the schema. That would be the list that would come back. Like this whole list of fields was expected to be here and it's not, and they're not. That's usually what that would contain. But the fact that it's image and task, because it should, just reading if I can tell what schema. Yeah, because the schema, yeah, I'll take a quick look as well to see. But it is strange if it's intermittently working. I'll look at it.
Yeah. Akash, have you seen this error in some other PR? Like, I'm thinking maybe we could check more sample run to see if they have the same error message.
I did see it in my PR before, I think a couple of days ago, but then I reran it, so we don't have the logs for that.
Okay.
This error might actually be showing up right now in the nested references PR. I think that also,
yep.
We can check that too.
Yep. Okay. We'll look at several PR just to confirm we're all seeing the same problem. Cool. And yep. And we've talked about having the AWS auth provider reviewed this week, Jimmy. Are there anything else you would like to discuss for the PR?
No. No, I can't think of anything.
Okay, cool. Yeah. The other blocker is the end-to-end test failure that we'll need to look at shortly.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's everything on our agenda. Anything else to discuss, anyone? Okay, cool. We'll wrap up early today then. Thanks for joining. If you have a PR that's needed for RC, feel free to tag us and we'll be able to triage together. Hope you have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.